note that if you're more than 5 minutes late, you have to supply donuts.
I'll go and make arrangements with the cook. She's already volunteered.
I know.
The fire extinguisher guy called, he said it wasn't them. And I said, every single fire extinguisher is missing.
Okay.
Okay, call the special meeting to order. We have 3 things on the agenda. Interim road superintendent appointment, fire extinguishers and fuel tanks. Is there anything addition that we need to include in the agenda?
I guess one thing would be just Daryl's wage if we appoint him to be the interim. And that could be part of that conversation.
Yep.
Okay. Anything else?
I don't have any.
Okay, approve the agenda
So
with the addition.
move to approve.
Second,
Approved. Okay, first topic. Interim road superintendent appointment. Do I turn that over to, who's in charge of this right now? We've made a decision on who the appointment's going to be.
Okay.
To make it official, it will be who?
I guess I'll make the motion to appoint Daryl Berger as the interim road superintendent until we hire a permanent replacement.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion for Daryl. We have a second by Rob. For discussion.
Dave, would you be willing to amend that to install him at Kyle's former wage per hour?
Yes, I would.
Okay, we'll just use that as an amendment.
Okay, and also as far as that topic for discussion, Daryl has agreed to stay with us until the time that we find a replacement,
Okay.
and we will start advertising after this meeting.
Okay.
Is that all correct?
Yes.
As far as I understand, yes.
Okay, as far as Daryl now, will he have a benefit package?
No.
It'd be similar to the temps being hired. So he'd get the hourly rate. He's already drawing retirement from PERS, so he can't double up on that. So it's basically just an hourly rate. Yep.
Benefits. Temporary, no benefits.
Yep.
He would have access to the pickup, I'm assuming.
Yes. You will have the pickup, the cell phone.
And I did talk to Daryl about that last night, that he would just be his hourly wage.
Okay. Is he okay with this, Dave?
Yes.
Okay.
In fact, he showed up at 7 this morning because after checking things out after our meeting yesterday, I went down to the shop. There are absolutely no fire extinguishers on site.
We had this discussion in the courthouse yesterday.
Yep. So that's why I thought we have to get him going on that right away this morning.
Okay.
Dave, may I suggest that Daryl as interim, if there's any concerns of firing or hiring, he should consult the portfolio holder and HR before any action's taken.
Yep, and I did verify that last night too, that
Okay.
that Alice would be notified instantly or immediately. My suggestion was if he does have a problem, he gets a hold of you, Alice, or me, or both, but then we would put something in that person's file if there's a problem.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, does he now have the county pickup?
I believe so. He didn't. I didn't call him this morning, but the word was that Kyle was going to bring in the pickup, the cell phone, the courthouse keys, and the credit card. He brought them in last night, supposedly, but I haven't verified it.
The credit card has been shut down
Canceled?
or
Yep,
canceled because it has Kyle's name on it. It's not just like a county credit card, it had his name. So that was shut down by the bank.
Yep.
We just have to get them a official letter with signatures saying that the county is good with that. And as far as if Daryl needs anything purchased, I think he can just come to us or charge it. I think we have a charge account at Menards for sure if there's really any need, and I think Roots would allow us to do something
Yes.
similar for fuel if needed. I don't know that opening a card under Daryl's name for like a month or however long
Take
is the
almost so
right
long
route
get
to
the
take.
stuff done.
Yeah.
Okay, Patrick, is there anything other than what we have discussed that we need to discuss prior to voting on this?
Prior to voting on it? No, I don't think so, Lee. One thought that came into my head was that will the fact that Daryl's drawing a wage from the county affect his ability to be able to draw from his PERS?
I don't think so because it's a temporary, like a temp status
Yeah.
wage. It's just, it affects his ability to earn retirement on that wage because he's already drawing from his PERS retirement.
Okay, that was my only concern because
Yeah.
if that were the case, it might be wise to consider making him a contractor. But if that won't have an effect on his ability to draw whatever income he's drawing, then I don't see any reason. I was just trying to be thoughtful for what Daryl's stepping into.
Yep.
Okay, so we are ready to vote on this as far as any further?
Oh, I guess, Lee. One thing. Has anyone else expressed any interest in the interim position?
I didn't hear
Not
that
that
one.
I'm aware of.
Has anybody else expressed interest in the interim position? I don't believe
I
so.
haven't gotten any calls.
No one has talked to me.
Or me.
And Lee, I do think that the commission will need to make a finding that the current state of the road department requires the immediate appointment of somebody.
Okay. The current state of the road department requires us to immediately appoint somebody to take over as interim. Otherwise,
Oh,
typically, I think you'd wait until you would find somebody to take the
Oh.
permanent position. But because we need somebody in that role, that's why we're doing it this way. Yep.
Okay. Okay, let's do a roll call vote on this. Dave? Rod?
I
Okay, aye. Okay, we approve the hiring interim road superintendent, Daryl Berger. Okay, the next item, fire extinguishers. Who can clue me in on this? Is this the one we just talked about then, about for the,
Well, I knew about the ones in the courthouse missing. I was not aware of the ones missing at the road department. Dave, you can speak on that one.
Yeah, so when I went down to the shop yesterday afternoon, I was notified that there are, what do you want to say, decals or whatever to put in certain positions to notify people that don't know the building where their extinguishers are. So there's brand new ones there, but they're not up. And then they said to me, the company came in and got all the extinguishers a couple months ago or something, and never brought them back. So right now there is not an extinguisher available in any of the pickups, the trucks, the blades, or in the shop. So I asked Daryl if he would look into it immediately, and he was gonna go through the fire department because they get them cheaper, and he was gonna have somebody run to Bismarck and get whatever they had available, so we had something on site for safety.
Linda did call Master Fire, who comes out and services our
normal
fire. That's our
contractor.
normal contractor. She called them this morning and she said that is not who went out to the shop. They have no idea who it was that went and got those extinguishers. I wasn't aware we were missing them in the courthouse.
I don't know.
There's one right around the corner. There's a case with the fire extinguisher.
Oh,
But anyways, she called them. They said they would never do that. They would never take all the extinguishers without replacing them.
well, normally there's loaners put in place.
Right. They put a loaner in place until our regular ones are completed, fixed, whatever. So they are going to bring, I believe they were going to bring some out for us because we cannot be without fire extinguishers out there. So, Master Fire is who we typically go through. So,
Well, whoever picked them up, it was for the reason of recharging them,
You would assume.
and
right.
they should.
But
be
it
bringing them back.
wasn't, they should be. But if that was a couple of months ago and they haven't brought them back or left loaners, that begs the question of was it a legitimate employee that was doing that? Because Master Fire has trucks with logos. From my understanding, this was a non-logoed vehicle. Yeah,
Oh, so the guy's actually seen them being picked up.
I guess so.
They said he had an older car, and he put all the extinguishers in there,
Well,
so it was
So
unmarked.
my information is wrong.
well, that's
Well, Daryl was going to look into trying to find out who if anybody had any idea who. He was going to try to contact Kyle and try to get more info.
Okay.
yeah.
So,
Because
should I
this
contact
this is
you? or
major
should
because
you, Gene?
That's a life insurance issue.
Contact Daryl, you mean?
Yeah, somebody should contact Daryl and inform him that you're working on it right now, probably.
Yeah, I can let him know after the meeting, and I'll double check because Linda was on the phone with Master Fire, not that long ago. So I'll touch base with him so we're not getting wires crossed.
Perfect.
But like Rob says, I mean, if they're missing, this is a major theft. I mean, because this is
It's an insurance.
a huge amount of money.
Well, and I believe there are cameras down at the shop. I don't know if how far back they go,
Are they recording?
or that's the other question. Kyle was the only one that had access to them, from my understanding.
Which we need to change access to those cameras.
Yeah.
Correct.
Okay. Do we need to discuss more on the fire extinguishers, or
I think it's
is
been
that under
dealt
control
with.
right now?
I think it's-
I mean, as far as getting them replaced, we're working on it now with Master Fire, I believe. As far as the ones that are completely missing, I don't know. I mean, I think, what is Patrick's thoughts on this?
It could be the insurance claim of some sort, shouldn't it? If
What are my thoughts specifically on what, guys?
Well, the missing fire extinguishers. I mean, if somebody came and basically just stole them, how do we approach that?
What we would do is we would ask the sheriff's department to investigate as to where those went, when they went,
Mm-hmm.
and then if we find out that that's the case, then a report would be generated and sent to my office.
Okay.
That would also beg the question as to, well, I think the first thing we need to do is ask law enforcement to look into that. Do you have any idea how long they've been gone?
Couple.
I'd have to talk to Kenny or Dean or Marvin or Ben.
One of the shop guys would be able to tell us, but from what I understand, it's been at least a month, if not 2 months, right?
Right.
Well, what I would suggest, I'm not certainly going to tell law enforcement how to do an investigation, but I do think that Alice, it might be wise for you to be a part of that and to interview, each of the shop employees separately.
Okay.
just change the subject a hair. The padlocks that are down there for the fuel tanks and the gate are old. Some of them were very hard to close. So I told Daryl, I think for another safety reason, I think we need to get brand new padlocks. And he was going to go through Caterpillar, which these locks are through right now, the old ones. And then former employees might still have keys to the old ones.
Okay.
Well, then that would go without saying that we'd have to replace them anyways, similar to how we replace locks when an employee leaves here.
Yes.
If they don't turn in their keys, we automatically have to change the locks, but.
So was that the discussion then that for the fuel tanks then, was it just the locks for 'em?
Yes.
Just the locks, or is it the fuel tanks also located at a couple of them?
Yeah. Gus hasn't got back to me yet. I texted him because he was working last night about potentially getting the fuel tanks both empty. To my understanding, they were both just recently filled. They're 1,000-gallon tanks. I heard two stories that the county owned them, and then I heard Gus owned them. But now it sounds like the county owns them. So it would be our responsibility to move them out of the two locations after we get them empty. And talking to Patrick yesterday, that was it could be a liability having them out there. And there is a trailer with a tank on right now. There, they could pull it out to fill that piece of equipment. But we maybe should look at buying like one of them heavier duty car trailers and have Root Oil install a tank on there with a 12-volt pump and only a 500-gallon tank, and then they can pull that out to whichever piece of equipment needs filling instead of having fuel tanks on site.
They sell trailers for this.
Okay.
I can look into it, but yeah, they're made for pulling behind a pickup for service units.
Yep, just like most of the big farmers have.
Yeah, exactly right.
Yep. So that would be my suggestion, that we pursue that to get them emptied as soon as possible. And then the county shop will take a loader, add a trailer out, and bring them both back into the county shop area.
Yeah, I mean, that needs to be a priority to get those off of private property. If they're going to be there much longer, I think we need to let our insurance provider know. They shouldn't be there.
So where are they now?
Kyle's got one, Ben's got one.
Okay.
Now, supposedly Kyle's is in an enclosure if it leaks, but we're not sure if Ben's is. So that could be a problem, because if it leaks and somebody creates a spark close to that tank, it could create a hazard for the landowner and his property. And so it's probably something we need to really address. It probably worked good in the past, but it's something we probably have to get away from.
I think we just get them removed as soon as possible.
I can make some phone calls and find a trailer. That's not a problem.
Okay.
Okay, you'll take care of that then.
Okay, I didn't catch that, Rob. What did you say?
Yeah, I'll try to find a trailer, Dave.
Okay, and then I'll work with Daryl as far as and Gus getting them pumped out, and then getting them removed.
Okay, that'll work.
Okay.
Anything else?
I guess I don't have anything. I think that's priorities that right now that's got to be at the top of the list. So.
Dave, I am working on something. I'll present it at the next meeting about gas and diesel,
Okay.
securing inventory and whatnot.
Okay, and that'll be another thing we'll have to get going is an inventory down in the shop. One hasn't been done in some time.
Okay.
Does anyone have anything else for this meeting?
No, Dan, Dan, if you can't hear me, someone else let him know. I did get Dave's email from this morning.
Okay, good enough. Yeah, and then I guess having Daryl, you know, with the knowledge he has, I think it's a very good fit right now. I tried to talk to 3 of the employees. They were all happy with the decision we made to appoint Daryl. Nobody had any objections, so I think that's a plus for us.
Yeah. Definitely sounds like a plus.
Yep.
Anything else?
So we went over everything pretty thorough about there won't be any hiring or firing or, you know, and Daryl understands that. He's been around it long enough.
Alice, is there anything?
Got anything? No.
We're okay on everything as far as the paperwork and everything.
All that done.
Yeah, we'll work together and get the job posted and get Daryl's employment stuff figured out.
Yeah.
And
Dave, you just want me to get bids on that tank trailer? Present them at the next meeting?
I think if you would, Rob, that would be very good.
Okay.
Well, I guess we should know what is down at the shop right now. But the way it was said to me, it's not a real good trailer. So I don't know if it's a pickup box trailer or what they have. I didn't get a chance to go look, but we should probably look at that first and then move forward.
I'll stop on my way out of town.
No, do we need a, well, no, we don't need a motion. You're just going to look into it.
I'll just get bids. I'm not gonna buy.
You know, Gus would probably move those.
yeah, I think Dave was gonna talk with Gus
Give
about.
them empty and haul them in
I
and
think he would,
put the fuel back in.
Oh yeah.
Okay, anything else before we adjourn?
None of my end.
Okay, meeting adjourned.
I misunderstood the fire extinguisher. I was looking at the wrong building.
Oh.